Jane Okafor had standards. Not the kind people joked about on social media. Not must be 6 foot, 6-pack, 6 figures. Her list was longer, quieter, carved from watching her mother cry over unpaid bills and a father whose promises dissolved like sugar in hot tea. She wanted stability. She wanted a man who spoke gently, dressed well, respected God, sent money home without being begged, and whose life made sense when you looked closely. Don't marry potential, her mother always said. Marry good character. So at 28, working in a bank in Lagos, beautiful, composed, and admired, Jane rejected suitors the way a queen waves past unqualified visitors. There was Chinedu, who talked big but borrowed transport fare. No. There was Femi, kind but jobless. No. There was Toby, rich but very rude to waiters. God forbid. Her friends laughed. Jane, at this rate you will interview husbands with CV and guarantor. She would smile. If peace of mind requires an interview, we will conduct it. Then came Ethan. They met at a wedding in Lekki. He arrived late, wearing a tailored suit that fit like prayer. Gold wristwatch. Calm confidence. A soft foreign accent that wrapped around his words. Someone whispered, "He lives in London. Tech consultant. Just invested in property." Jane did not fall for his money, but she respected the direction. He spoke intelligently, quoted scripture without preaching, and actually listened when she talked about her work. By the end of the night he asked for her number. Not arrogantly. Carefully. "I'd like to know you properly, Jane." Her name in his mouth sounded safe. Dating Ethan felt like walking into an answered prayer. Flowers arrived. Calls were consistent. Pictures from London showed modern apartments, rooftop dinners, office spaces with glass walls. He sent money for her lunch sometimes even when she didn't ask. He spoke about future plans with certainty. "When you relocate, you won't need to work immediately. Settle first." Her friends were impressed. Her mother was relieved. Even her pastor nodded approvingly. "Pray, my dear, but this looks responsible." Jane prayed and was at peace. So when Ethan proposed 6 months later during a visit home, with family present and a ring that flashed like a testimony, she said yes without fear. Their wedding trended. Asoebi were like royal banners. There were professional dancers, champagne towers, drone cameras. People said, "Jane has married well." Ethan spent freely. Vendors were paid in full. He promised a beautiful life abroad. 2 weeks later she left Nigeria as Mrs. Jane Williams. Her new beginning. London was colder than she expected. But Ethan held her hand and she felt brave. The apartment, however, was smaller than in the photos. Much smaller. "It's temporary," he said quickly. "We are renovating the main house." He accepted it. New marriages required adjustment. But small questions began to tap gently at her mind. Why did he avoid certain calls? Why did he come home tense some nights? Why did he insist she shouldn't post parts of the house online? "Privacy," he would say, kissing her forehead. He chose trust. Bills came. Many bills. More than she imagined someone successful would struggle with. One evening the electricity went off. Ethan blamed a system error. Another day a letter arrived. Final notice. She began to notice he left early but sometimes returned too quickly. His stories about work sounded rehearsed. When she asked gently, he smiled. "Immigration paperwork takes time. Once you're settled, everything will balance." Balance. He held on to that word like a rope. The truth came on a Tuesday afternoon. A woman knocked. Polite. Confused. I'm looking for Ethan Williams. He owes 3 months of rent. Rent? Jane blinked. We pay rent. The woman looked puzzled. Yes. This flat belongs to my sister. When Ethan returned that evening, he met a wife who was no longer calm. You lied. At first he denied it, then minimized it. Then finally, tired, he sat down. I wanted to become big, he said quietly. I thought I would before you noticed. The car? Barred, he answered. The designer clothes? Credit. The business? Never stable. The photos? Angles and favors. I couldn't lose you, he whispered. Jane felt foolish. All her careful selection. All her interviews. And still she married a dream wrapped in plastic. You sold me a future that doesn't exist, she said. Ethan cried, not dramatically but helplessly. I was ashamed. Everyone expects success abroad. She slept facing the wall that night, realizing something painful. She had married a performance. Divorce was possible. Her pride suggested it daily, but the shame and what people would say prevailed. But another voice spoke too. The memory of vows, of prayer, of the way he once tried, even if wrongly, to be worthy of her. Ethan began telling the truth now. Ugly, uncomfortable truth. He worked small jobs. He had debts. He had been pretending for years. No glamour. Just survival. For the first time, Jane saw the man without the packaging. And strangely, he looked human. Trust did not return overnight. But transparency entered. They listed debts. They created budgets. Jane found work sooner than planned. There were arguments. Tears. Humbling days. But there was also something new, honesty. Ethan stopped performing. Jane stopped worshipping appearance. They began finally to build a real marriage. 2 years later, life was not flashy. No champagne towers. No trending videos. But rent was paid. Laughter returned. Sleep came easily. One evening Ethan said, "Thank you for not leaving." Jane looked at him carefully. "Next time marry me with truth." He nodded. "I will never package myself again." If you asked Jane today, she would tell you something unexpected. Her mistake was not marrying a man who once lived a fake life. Her mistake was believing packaging more than process. Character, she learned, is not proven in photos. It is proven when masks fall and someone stays to repair what is broken.